Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I welcome Dr. Jyoti Prasad. She is from GB Pant University. And her topic is application of GRAS in water management. I request Yogashri to please give brief of ma'am.
Good evening to all dignitaries, guests, and delegates. With great joy and immense pleasure, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all present here. Today, we have with us Dr. Jyoti Prasad Ma'am, a professor of Civil Engineering College of Technical, Govind Ballabh Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar, Uttarakhand State, India. She has done her PhD from NIT Warangal with an area of interest hydrology, watershed management, irrigation management. Ma'am has published 36 national conference, 23 international conference, 3 national journals, 9 international journals and 2 others. She is a member of She is a member of editor board, the Journal of Water Productivity, and is a reviewer editor of Civil Engineering Pantnagar Journal of Research. We welcome you, ma'am. You can proceed, ma'am.
My screen is visible, sir.
Yes, visible ma'am.
Visible, no?
Visible, visible.
Okay, okay. Um, Good afternoon, all of you. Hope long lecture just now you have completed. My thanks to the organizer and the coordinator, Dr. Vaikar sir and Aditya sir, for giving me this opportunity for to expert lecture in this program. And my presentation is on application of HECRAS in flood water management. So just screen is moving, sir. Screen is moving.
Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am.
Okay. So what exactly I will be going to cover in the presentation, and here just to have a knowledge, everybody is knowing, but still just to have a knowledge of flood and effects and management of floods, and also we will see for dam disaster report and most frequent causes of failure of floods, and what is this dam breaching, and then we will be seeing for HECRAS for dam breach model, and also we will be seeing for breach parameters and its importance, and also we will be seeing for input data required and inundation map, and how is my presentation, maybe 45 to 1 hour, maybe I will take the lecture, and then followed with my one of my MTech students. She completed her MTech in the specially application of HECRAS in 2D modeling. She has got the job in National Institute of Hydrology. She is working in Kokinad, and especially because of this HECRAS software she has worked, she got the job as an SRF. That is, she is working there, and she is now more exposed to the especially on HECRAS software, and so I will first give some introductions and how floods and all. Later on, we will try to demonstrate the software. Meenakshi Ramola, she's a scientist. She is working in National Institute of Hydrology, and she will be explaining on about the software part. So now, what is this flood? So flood means we are all knowing it is an overflow of excess water, and that submerges the land and inflow of the tide into the land. So it may occur because of the geomorphic equilibrium in the river system. It has got disturbed because of the intersonic threshold and also the extrinsic threshold. What causes of the flood? So we know one is the natural flood. So natural flood is mainly because of the heavy rainfall. So for the heavy rainfall, just the first slide, that is which I have put, this you are seeing. It is the image of the Rishikesh, Lord Shiva. He is under the flood. So this has happened during the year June 14 to 17 June 2013. There was an heavy rainfall which has occurred in Uttarakhand. So here, this is of nearly 375% more than the benchmark of the normal rainfall which was receiving in the Uttarakhand. So because of that, what has happened? There was a glacier. So glacier, it is called Charobari. So it is at the height of 3,800 meters. So that is also start to erupt, and because of that, the rivers which has flooded in the Yamuna and Ganga river and its tributary. So there was a very huge flood which has occurred, and see in the Rishikesh how it is. Our Shiva is also under the flood. So this is the natural cause. So it is the natural cause because of the heavy rainfall which has occurred, and because of heavy rainfall, even the melting of ice also took in the glacier, and even sometimes we can say during volcanic eruptions also it may leads to the flood. And if there is any sort of undersea earthquake is there, so there also we can able to expect the flood here. And second one is the man-made flood. What is this man-made flood? Man-made flood, generally it is of the bank erosion. So bank erosion in the sense river bank erosions. So river bank erosion, one is it is because of the deforestation. So deforestation because of cutting of the trees, and you will see the strengthening of the bank of the river get destroyed. And similarly, you can see the construction of the houses. So even if you are seeing the Uttarakhand flood of 2013, so many of the houses which has constructed on the bank of the river, so all that has got flooded, and it is all it is fallen. So that is also one of the, because of the pressure, earth pressure which is created at the bank. So that is also a because of the intervention of the human. And even certain times it may happen that soil extraction near them, we can say the bank. So that is also one of the reasons. So these are all the causes, and many more causes are there. So few are just I have highlighted. That is, one is of natural cause and other one is of the man-made purpose. So now, just to have the main type, different types of floods. What is this different types of flood? So one is, we call it as a flash flood. So flash flood, that means it is a fast moving water, and that will sweeps everything in their path. Whatever it comes, it is going to sweeps here. That is because of the heavy rainfall or rapid snow. So flood usually it covers a small area, and it will occur in a very little or no notice sometimes. So generally it will be less than the 6 hours. So what will be the strength of this flash flood? So here what will happen whenever the flash flood comes, we will see that large objects like rocks, even tree, car, everything, it is going to be flown through the flood here. So this is which we call it as a flash flood. And other one is called as a coastal flood. So coastal flood, nowadays we are all hearing about the yaws. I think all of you are coming across with the storm of yaws, which nowadays we are all seeing and hearing continuously, and it is moving from the southern part to it is moving towards the Bhubaneswar. This is which we are seeing. So it is caused because of the strong wind or the storm. So that has moved towards the coast during the high tide. So here, coastal areas, especially wherever the lower elevations are there, they are the mostly affected here. So that is the one. It is almost wherever the coastal regions are there, sea regions. So those areas are going to be affected much. We can able to see here. And the other one is the river flood. So river flood means it is characterized by the gradual river bank overflows. So river which is flowing, you can see it is gradually increasing. It is not suddenly increasing, it is gradually increasing because of the extensive rainfall which has come across, and it will extend from the banks sometime. So here mainly we can say area which is covered by the river flood. It all depends upon the size of the river and amount of the rainfall. Okay, so it is all especially the river floods. It is mainly it is covered with the depends on the size of the river as well as the how much the amount of rainfall has occurred. And in this case, river floods generally rarely loss of lives is going to take place. Loss of lives will be less, but it can cause the immense economic damage. So it is going to create a loss in the economic damage. So especially the irrigated areas and all. So those things are going to be damaged by the river floods here. And other one nowadays is most popular. It is urban floods. So urban floods, earlier I used to hear like in Muscat, Oman, when I had been there, I used to, even in the Muscat, the dam which has constructed, they are telling that time when I had been 2009 or 10, there was no flood has come, but anyhow for preparation of the flood, we have constructed a dam. And we have heard also recently that the heavy rainfall also took and the dam has filled there. But nowadays in India also we are seeing this urban flood. So this because why it is happening the urban flood? That is mainly because of the drainage system. Drainage system in the city or the town, it fails to absorb the water from the heavy rain. And even the lack of natural drainage in the urban area, it is also contributing to the flood. And even water, it will flows into the street and making even the driving is also very dangerous. So especially I used to hear in especially in Muscat and all, if the rain comes, so most of the accidents are going to take place because it was so steep, that is slippery, and the fast of the car is also more, and it is going to come and hitting the cars. So that is also, it is very dangerous. Even though there is a very few inches deep in case of urban floods, and it is also create a lot of problem to the public, especially in India. Nowadays, that is, we have heard, especially in South India, Chennai flood. So Chennai flood, which has occurred during the year 2015, it has created a lot, and because of the rainfall and all, so because of concrete jungle, nowadays we can say nowadays no drainage, proper drainage was also there. So because of that, the entire Chennai was under the flood. And nowadays even Bangalore is also, because Bangalore earlier it was in lake city, but now you see in Bangalore it is also a concrete jungle, multiple story buildings, even in the lakes, many lakes are got dried, and even that all the natural drainage, that is also blocked. Most of the natural drainage is also blocked, and because of that, we will also see in the Bangalore also there was a flood. So this is also, we call it as an urban flood. It is just an example here. And other one we call it as a fluvial flood. So fluvial flood, it is also in the form, it is generally, you can see it in a flat area. Whenever there is a rainfall occurs, and because of the rainwater, sometimes it is not possible to infiltrate. So because of that, there will be a formation of the puddling and ponds. It can be appearing in the appear. So this is also similar to that of the urban flooding, but it occurs mostly in the rural areas. So here mainly it is going to affect the agricultural activities and properties in the areas, especially. So this will be affected very seriously whenever there is a fluvial floods. So these are all the different types of the floods. So now, what is the effect of the floods? The effect of floods, it will be primary effect. So primary effect, it will be due to the direct contact of the flood water, and that leads to the physical damage to the structures here. And the other one, it is called as a secondary effect. Secondary effect, it is mainly due to the results of the primary effect, whatever it has happened, and disruption of the essential service is going to happen here. And tertiary effect, it is due to the combined effect of the primary and secondary effect, and it will go for a long term. So generally the flood, effect of flood, it will be primary and secondary, and there is a tertiary effects are there. So now, what is this secondary effect? So secondary effect, it is going to disturb certain services. So mainly we can say drinking water supply may be polluted. So drinking water, it is going to be polluted, especially if sewage treatment plants are flooded. So during the, if suppose a sewerage treatment plant get flooded, then definitely it is going to affect the drinking water supply. So it may result in the diseases and other health issues, especially in case of the underdeveloped countries. Even gas and electrical service may also going to be disturbed. Even the transportation system, it may also be going to be affected here. So if transportation system is affected, means resulting in shortage of food supply, vegetable supplies and all. And even sometimes it may happen that in case of underdeveloped country, there can be a food shortage, and it may lead to the starvation also. And what will be the long-term effect? So long-term effect is the tertiary effect. So what is happening in case of long-term effect? So location of channels, river channels, it may change as a result of flooding. So whenever the flood has come, whatever the path of the location of the river channel is there, it may change its path. So then new channel is going to develop here. So leaving the old channels dry. So that is one of the effects here. And even sediment deposited by the flooding. Sediment deposited by the flooding, it may destroy the farmland. So sediment deposited, when all of us know, like whenever there is a flood, then whatever the silt has been brought to the land floodplains, it will be improving the agricultural productivity. That is, especially the soil property is going to increase. But because of the huge sediment deposited on the land, so that is also going to be affected here. And even sometimes that is, there can be a flood reliefs or always is there. So all of us, we are seeing also in the news channels and all, there can be sometimes the farmer may not able to get the money which has been given by the government. And even there can be a destruction of the wildlife habitats. So wildlife habitats, like human beings also, wildlife which are living in the forest and all, so because of the flood, they are also going to be disturbed. And sometimes some of the animals can also die here. And they will also be quietly inconvenient, because they are all the long term effect. Some of them I have just highlighted here. So just the, we can say, primary effect, we can say, you can see here, because here landslides are there, because of rainfall, this it is road got obstructed here. And you can see, because of the flooding, the people are making the food, like, and even the animals, see how they are moving in the water, and they are not having the shelter here. So like that, we are having the effects of the flood, which you can able to see. So now, flood management. So it cannot be absolutely controlled, only managed. Okay, so even though we say, like, we can control the flood and all, many researchers, everything is there, but it cannot be absolutely controlled. 100% control we cannot able to do, only we can able to manage here. So now, what is the aim of flood management? So main aim of flood management is, whenever there is a flood, we need, first priority is protection of the people and property and their property. That is the main priority will come for protection of people and the property. And also, as far as possible, reduction of flood risk. So whatever the damage, everything is going to happen. So as far as possible, we try to, management is to reduction of the flood risk. And the third thing is monitoring of flood, monitoring. So monitoring is also most important here. So for that purpose, we need to do all the research workers, still several research. It is go on, it is not in stop. I cannot say like this is the one I have done. This is the research work and this is the ultimate solution for this. So several research, it is going on for monitoring of the flood and forecasting, and even for warning of the floods. So just to know the like an hard engineering, we can say structures which we are going to construct, and soft engineering, which I say like non-structural, like here. Suppose if you want to protect the flood in that area, floodplain zone, so they we need to construct an embankment. So embankments, we are going to start at the end of the river, and we are trying to make a structure so that the flood water should not go and damage the public properties and all. So that is the thing which we are going to construct. It is an embankment. And other one is flood preparedness. Flood preparedness means, I was telling an example like the Muscat. They have constructed a dam. So they are telling 20 years over, there is no flood and all. But still they are in the mind, for if any flood comes, we need to do like. So even in the flood which has occurred during the year 2013 in Uttarakhand, our Tehri Dam, it was not there, then it would be a more loss to the Uttarakhand. Human loss will be there. So for that purpose, we need to have dams and the reservoirs we have to construct. And then flood forecasting. So now we are forecasting the flood, it may come. So for that, if it is knowing that particular year, the flood is going to come in this particular area and all, then we need to do the channel improvement. So channel improvement in the sense, we have to do the repair and maintenance of the channel so that the capacity of the channel should be more so that the flood water can move smoothly. And then other thing is afforestation. Afforestation means especially we need to do the plantation, that is forest development. So forest development here near the bank of the rivers, if you are making, then it's sort of the drainage improvement can be possible here. And also we are going to do them for the public relief. For the public relief, what we are going to do, there are diversions of flood rivers we are going to do. So this diversion, especially it can be for irrigation purpose, or it can be for the flood river water whenever it comes, and it will be left to the one particular place, and it is diverted the flood so that water, once flood water resides, and that land can be used by the public for their growth of the irrigation purpose. So like that, we are going to do the flood management. Anyhow, it cannot be absolutely controlled, it can be only managed. So now we know, especially like in India, 9% of the total population, that is around 113 million people of India, they are exposed to the flood. And as per the World Resource Institute 2015, they have estimated US dollar around 14.3 billion of Indian economy, it is used for the flood risk. So India is highly exposed to the flood. Just public is exposed, that is 9% of total population is exposed to the flood. So if you see here, flood toll, if you taken from 2016 to 2019-20, so around 2016-17 number of deaths across the India, it was 1550. And similarly 17-18 it was 2494. Like that, we have the number of death cases. And house which has damaged in India in terms of lakh. Okay, it is of 2016-17, it is of around 5.5 lakhs, and 17-18 it was around 11.9. So like that, in terms of lakhs of houses, public people has lost because of the flood. And even in during the monsoon of 2018-19, there were 8 states hit in the India. One is Kerala, another one is Gujarat, and Uttarakhand, and even Maharashtra, and Karnataka, and Jammu and Kashmir, and Odisha. And even the West Bengal. So they are all because of the heavy rains. 2019, nearly 8 states has affected a lot, and we can see that many, that is lives and house property, and we can see the road, railway, air travels, they are all hit. So this is why the flood water management is one of the most important one which we need to study here. So how we are going to study the flood water management? All of us, we know, for flood control we need to construct a dam. So this dam, they are the most important infrastructure to any developing countries like India. So India total large dams, that is we can see it is around 5,701 is the total dams, large dams in India, and it was operation is around 5,254, and anyhow it is of 2016, maybe still more improved. And Maharashtra is the maximum number of dams which is there, larger dams, it is of 2,354 dams. Next to that we have Madhya Pradesh. So these dams especially helps in flood control, flood water control, and this dam will help for irrigation. As we know, during the year of independence, the first priority of construction of the dam was the main purpose for irrigation purpose only. So that was constructed main purpose. Most of the dam was constructed because of the food priority was the food was there. So that is the irrigation, and these dams will serve for irrigation. One is flood control it will do, and then irrigation, and it will also help for municipal and industrial water supply. And all of us know even the hydroelectric power generation, recreations is also there, like recreation purpose also we can able to use the dams here. So we have constructed the dam mainly for all several with the several aspects we have constructed a dam. But if dam, because I told everything is nature. So nature, it will not, it will take its own way to balance the earth. So now suppose if the dam breaks. So what are the most frequent dams which has failed, major dams, that is frequent dams which has failed? One is according to Costa report. What was the cause here? 1985, major cause of dam breach was, one is for overtopping due to insufficient spillway capacity, that is of 34%, and piping and seepage of 28%, and foundation defects, it was of 30%. And according to the report of UNDP 2004, among all the natural water disasters, flood is causing 50% of the total loss, and annually an average about 196 million people across the 90 countries are exposed for the catastrophic flooding. So this flood, especially the failure of flood, are not taken across the country, and it is only in India. That is majorly some highlight. It was during the 1917 Tigara Dam in Gwalior, it was failed, and Panchet Dam in Pune during the 1961, and Machu Dam in Morabi, Gujarat, 1979, and all of us also knowing recent dam breach of Ratnagiri Dam during the year 2019 in Maharashtra, that is nearly about 44% breach has occurred. So this breaching causes of dam breach is also one of the research topic has started to see that. So according to the Central Water Commission, dam safety during the year 2018, they have given certain values that the dams which has failed. That is 44% mainly because of breaching failure due to the flooding, and 25% overtopping and due to the inadequate spillway capacity, and 17% shows the other causes, and 14% is mainly by the piping and bad workmanship. So this was reported by the Central Water Commission Dam Safety Organization during the 2018. So now, Dam Safety Office, Water Resource Research Laboratory, Reclamation, during the year 1998. So the methods analysis are grouped into the 4 categories. One is called physically based method. So physically based method using erosion models based on principle of hydraulics, sediment transport and soil mechanics. Development of breach and the resulting breach outflow are anticipated. The study was started and to see what will be the breach outflow, that is seen. And second one was parametric model. Parametric model means it is based on breach geometry and the failure time. Failure time, they are estimated using the case studies. Based on the case studies, it has been estimated. And with the help of hydraulics, breach outflows are assessed, and the breach expansion is evaluated as a time-independent linear process. That means the breach geometry and the failure, it is also a time dependent linear process here that they have taken parametric model. And the third is predictor equation. Predictor equation using the data of case studies, peak discharge is estimated from the empirical equations and a reasonable shape of outflow hydrograph is started to assume. What will be the shape of outflow hydrograph? And last one is the comparative analysis. Comparative analysis, breach parameters are determined by the comparison of dam under the consideration and dam that failed. So in case of comparative analysis, breach parameters, they are determined by the comparisons of dam under consideration and also dam that has been failed. So now dam breach modeling. So regardless of design or construction of the dam, we can see the increased forces. It is applied to them during the extreme events, which increases the potential risk of failure. Even though we have well designed, and still you can see some extreme events, there can be a potential risk of failure. So therefore, dam breach analysis is conducted for determine for the ultimate discharge from the hypothetical breach of the dam under the such events. So then the study has started to see for the hypothetical breach of the dam. The outcome of is only the breach hydrograph from the dam failure with the flood wave immediately on the downstream of the dam, because when the flood it breaches the dam, then it will start to move towards the downstream side. So which has routed through the river system for determining the, especially for flood arrival time, what time flood arrived and what is the peak flow and what is the depth of flow at the downstream location. And along with that, we need to have a mapping of inundation areas. Inundation area means area flooded by the flood wave. So this can be done mainly for estimating the potential consequence of the dam breach and also the emergency planning purpose. So in case of dam break analysis, there are two primary tasks for analyzing the potential dam failure. One is prediction of reservoir outflow hydrograph and routing of that hydrograph through the downstream area. So that is the one. First we need to see the reservoir outflow hydrograph and routing of that hydrograph through the downstream area. And the second is to predict the reservoir hydrograph. There are some fundamental steps needs to be done. One is prediction of breach characteristics, which may include the shape and size of the breach and the rate of breach formation. So we have to see the breach, that is prediction of the breach characteristics. Breach characteristics means which is mainly involved with the what is the shape generally take and what is the size and breach of the breach and rate of breach formations. And also the routing of reservoir storage and inflow through the breach. So routing of the reservoir storage, whatever the storage is there in the reservoir, and correspondingly what will be the inflow through the breach, that is also required. And even the fundamental target of developing a dam break model. It is mainly to simulate the flood wave along the downstream valley. The main target, fundamental target is we have to develop a dam break model and is to be simulate the flood wave along the downstream valley, how it moves, what time and what height we have to see that. So that is the one which we are going to do in case of the primary task which we are generally we have to do in case of the potential dam failures. So now, why we want to study the dam bridge model? So the purpose in which we need to study the dam bridge model. So that is, one is, especially we can say it is the most important one, is the preparedness. Preparedness to tackle the disaster. Whatever the flood which is rainfall has come, because of that this much flood is going to be expected, and then finally what disaster can be expected. So for that we need to have an preparedness to tackle the disaster. And then we need for preparation of inundation map. Preparation map of the inundation map means at the downstream side, when the flood has come, how much the distance it is going to cover, and then what time the flood is to come, and we have to see how much the area it is going to be covered. So for that time it is also taken. So that's why preparation of inundation map is required. And then once the flood has come, before that we have to do the evacuation plan for the public. We have to intimate the public, like flood is coming, we have to evacuate. So recent now in TV also you are seeing the news for evacuation where the gas is moving. So there also they are doing the evacuation of the public. So similarly here also flood, we need to do the evacuation plan for the public. And even the evaluation of risk of downstream dam failure. So what will be the risk of the downstream dam failure? If it is failed, then what has going to happen? Finally, how many public, how many area it is going to be comes under that. So that risk we have to see here. And even emergency plan for reinstatement of infrastructure. So if flood comes, then what emergency plan we need to do, and how you adjust the public and minimum infrastructure which you are going to do it. And then design of protection measures. We have to do the design, what are the protection measures like embankments and all, if you want to do. So what sort of protection measures which we are going to do. So these are all the things which we have to keep in the mind to study of the why we want to study the dam bridge model. And now emergency action plan. So in case of emergency action plan, we have to identify those situations which would require for initiation of an emergency action and specify the action taken and by whom. All these things should be considered. Like an emergency, it may include of like dam incident. What is this dam incident? It is an abnormal condition, of course, or performance of dam with the potential to endanger the safety of the dam, but which is not expected to lead a breach of the dam. So just it is highlighting that there can be a dam breach. Just it is not expected, but you can say it is endanger the safety. And second is a dam alert. So dam alert means what we are going to see that here there can be an intervention could further degenerate with the time and lead to the dam breach of the dam. So how the flow is occurring and what is the time so that the breach can occur in the dam. That is a dam alert. And then dam breach. So dam breach means the actual breach, or we can say it is a severe during the severe abnormal condition, or we can say it is a performance of the dam that has significant probability of leading the breach of the dam. So it is a worst condition in which the dam is going to breach. So that we have to see that. For that, we have to identify the people who are involved, like different agencies and alternative methods and emergency action plan. We have to identify them. And even we have to identify the primary and auxiliary communication system, both for internal, that is between the persons at the dam, and the external, between the dam personnel and outside agencies. And we have to identify all the agencies who are directly or indirectly, especially to prepare the emergency action plan. And finally, it leads to the development of the draft of the emergency action plan. So that is the one of the most important parameter need to be taken into the consideration. So when we do the disaster water management planning, so for the prediction, for the preparation of planning, it is required. Anything we wanted to do, we have to require a planning. Preparation of planning is one of the most important things are there. While for technology, we need of dam breach model, along with the what things we have to take into the consideration. So we need to do the preparation of planning, and we need the technology for dam breach model. So for that, we need to prepare a plan which should be showing the inundated area on a contour map. It can be drawn with the suitable scale. It may vary from 1 in 15,000 to 25,000. With the contour interval of 1 to 2 meters, depending upon the area to be covered. And in respect of cities or towns and villages, which are all falling under the inundated area of the dam break floods, whenever the dam break floods, details of contour maps of the entire area, which is showing the contour interval of 0.5 meter, should be prepared. So detailed study. So what are all the cities coming, towns coming, village are falling in the inundation area. So when the dam break, that should be contour map has to be prepared for the entire area. Hypothetically, if you see dam flood line, break line, that is dam break flood line, the 25 to 50 years return period outflow, and the maximum spillway design discharge flood line whenever it is relevant, and various populated sectors, streets, roads, public buildings, important installations, and all prominent places must be marked in the plans. Okay, all these things we have to see And we have to see the 25 to 50 years return period flood that should be which is going out from the spillway. All the data should have here. And now, which I was speaking on the inundation map. So we need to prepare an inundation map. That is whenever the dam failure occurs, and whenever the dam failure occurs, then at the downstream side, how much area is included. That should be in case of the emergency action plan. And correspondingly, we have to see what will be the level of effort which is used in calculation. Inundation maps should also be shown with the time to flood and time to peak flow. That should also be there. And complexity of inundation mapping depending on expected impact of the dam failure of the dam on the downstream population and infrastructure. Those things should be coming in the inundation map, especially the approximate inundation maps. Where do we get it? It is generally prepared by Survey of India. It is responsible for all topographical control, surveys and mapping of India. And Survey of India topographical maps, and it will give all the details. City street maps or the maps. It is they're all, some of them are, it is available as a free internet map services like Google Maps and Bing Maps, Yahoo Maps and MapQuest. They are all giving them, give us the detail of using whenever we are preparing the approximate inundation maps. It is helpful here. And even the aerial photographs and satellite images can also be used as a background for preparation of the inundation maps. So the whatever the availabilities are there, the maps are available in the internet services. We can use that and we can able to download the maps which are topographic maps which are required for us in which we are working. We can able to take. So how this, especially the inundation studies maps has started? When it is started like this. So dam break flood forecasting. So during the year 1964, there was a failure of Baldwin Hills Dam near the Los Angeles, California, and Los Angeles and California, and near the failure of Lower Van Norman. It was during even 1971, there was a dam failure. After that, the state of California, it started to for working on the failure of the inundation map. So then they started for developing a procedure for estimating the breach hydrograph, which has started to born that. After that, California and they started for publishing the estimation of dam breach outflow hydrographs as started. And then afterwards, many numerous failures has occurred during 1970s and 1972 and 1976 and in Venezuela 1977 and Georgia during 1977. So there are certain failures, dam failures which has occurred, lead to the comprehensive review of reclamation's dam safety. So many of the reviews, they recommended that emergency preparedness planning with the inundation maps is must. So Then these events they highlighted and need of developing the procedure for estimation of the breach outflow hydrograph. As per the National Water Policy of Government of India, inundation maps due to the dam break flood should be prepared for emergency action plan for all the major dams. So that was the thing it has started. So two primary tasks, analysis of breach dam, which we are coming across. One is prediction of reservoir outflow hydrograph and routing of that hydrograph through the downstream valley. We have to do it. And predicting of outflow hydrograph, it can be subdivided into one is predicting the breach characteristics like shape, depth, width, rate of breach formation, and routing the reservoir storage, that is inflow through the breach. So that is considered, and then routing tasks through the breach through the downstream valley. They are handled widely by the computer models using one-dimensional, two-dimensional routing methods. So slowly it has started with them. This computer models has started for analyzing for one and two-dimensional routing methods has started. So there are numerous tools which are available. One is especially for analyzing of the dam failure and the resulting of outflow hydrograph. So one of the best is of National Weather Services dam break flood forecasting model, dam break, and other one is US Army Corporation of Engineers Hydrologic Engineering Center flood hydrograph track package HEC 1 and NWS simplified dam break flood forecasting model, and there is an SMP dam break. Of this model, dam break was one of the widely used, and along with this NWS, it has released FND wave and successor to the dam break, and then there was a Mike Levin and one of the other tool which has come as the HECRAS. It is also a useful tool for the exercise for simulation purpose. So models, there are a number of models, and Mike 11, Mike 21, Mike, yeah, that is the paid and urban, okay, dam break flow, and this HECRAS, it is an openware software, and we can able to use mainly HECRAS is based on the Saint Laurent equation, and in this mainly it was obtained from the Reynolds-Navier-Stokes equation by depth averaging method, assuming that hydrostatic pressure distribution and small channel slope, and it will be used for dikes and over floodplains. Mainly the Saint Laurent equation, it is based on the conservation of mass and conservation of the momentum. So that was used in the HECRAS software. One is conservation of mass and conservation of moment, and H is the water depth, HU and HV specific flows in X and Y direction, and UV. This is used in 2D and even 1D of Saint Laurent equation. What is the uncertainty of dam break analysis of the flood forecasting? So uncertainty is data requirement. Data is most important. If you are not feeding the data properly, then it will be a problem. Even for model formulation, it is also based on the specific where you are applying and all. And considering the boundary condition is also one of the most important parameters. So boundary condition is also, you have to take it very properly. Model input preparation. So what is the input? Whether it is given properly or not. Even the what is the model output, so whether the output has come is correct or not. So, and finally analyzing the result, whatever the you have got from the model output, analysis and the interpretation of the results is also a one of the most important thing which we have considered to be. It is they are all to be considered to be the uncertainty of dam break analysis. But anyhow, we have to sometimes primary data is very difficult. Sometimes we have to go for secondary data always. So now HEC-RAS model for dam breach model. So this HEC-RAS, it is, I told already, it is a openware software, and it is a computer program, and it was developed by Hydrologic Engineers Centers of United States Department of Defense, Army Corporations of Engineers. So in model hydraulics, initially they have started for natural river flow and other channels, and also it manages the river, harbor and other public works precisely. HEC-RAS, it was only for 1D, one-dimensional modeling, and there was no direct modeling of hydraulic efficient cross sections. Shapes, change, bends, and other two-dimensional and three-dimensional aspects of flow. But later on, it has started for two-dimensional modeling also. So that was recently 2019. It was 5.07 was released here. So this HEC-RAS, it is a physically based model. Distinct based model. Principle of here we use the hydraulics used for development of breach, and resulting of breach hydrographs, and using the erosion of model. On other side, HEC-RAS is a flow routing model, and which contains the semi-physically breach model here. Just to highlight the advantage of the HEC-RAS model, it is recognized by the several government organizations and private firms also. It is also available in a public domain. Okay, it is available for public domain, and we have both one-dimensional, two-dimensional is there, and even whenever we do the modeling, the cursor grid size, cell size, which taking into the subgrid scale variations, there is a bathymetry is also there, and then this is an implicit in finite volume algorithm. It is going to solve the 2D unsteady flow equation. It is one of the advantage here. Even it can handle both the structured and unstructured mesh, that is together it can be handled here. And it is a combination of cells of various size, shapes of the polygon. And it can perform, I already told, 1D, 2D, and coupling of both within the same software and within the same unsteady flow analysis. And what is the limitations? Limitations like sometimes the user may face instability and difficulty during the unsteady analysis. And even the breach parameter uncertainty may cause the flood peak uncertainty and its arrival time. So you have to be very careful whenever you are evaluating the breach parameter. And even the we can see that the scoring of channel bed takes place whenever there is a flood wave, high velocity, with a high velocity, and it will increases the river cross section. So that effects of enlargement and the equation of sediment transport that is not considered in the this equation of the model. And even the maximum size of any polygon in the grid mesh, it is considered to be the 8. if you want to go for more number of sites, then it will give, you cannot able to do the computation here. So anyhow, HECRAS, it do not support the bridge model capabilities in, especially in bridge model, it is not supporting, and even for water quality modeling, it is not supporting. And even precise prediction of bridge parameter is very much essential to make the reliable evaluation of the peak outflow. That evaluation must be very correct, then only we can say it can be applicable properly. Anyhow, this is just to see, anyhow we will see when we are uh, uh, demonstration of the 1D and 2D model when it is explaining that. And breach location. So breach location is also comes into the mind. So all models they reviewed by Muhammad 2002. He assumed that the breach located centrally within a dam or the embankment. But however, some failure it has shown that breach might occur near the abutment rather than the middle of the dam. So there are certain examples are also there, like breach has not occurred exactly at the center. So that's why the breach growth and outflow from centrally located breach is likely to be different from the side breach in terms of the time of the peak discharge, peak value, and hydrograph shape. So that is also we have to be most important. Where is the breach location? Whether it is a central location, whether it is at the side, and what is the time of peak discharge, peak value, and what will be the hydrograph shape. So that is one of the important here. And then breach parameters. It depends on what are those. Breach parameter, it mainly depends on the soil characteristics. What is the soil characteristics is there, and what will be the upstream discharge of the dam, how much is that upstream discharge has come, and what will be the degree of compaction in the soil that is there, and what is the geometry of the filled material. So how the fill material is there. So these are all certain dependability for the breach parameters. So breach parameter depends on soil characteristics, upstream discharge of the dam, degree of compaction, and geometry of the fill materials. So especially in case of the dam breach parameters, it is classified into the two types. One is geometric parameter and other one is time related parameters. So geometric parameters means breach depth or height. We can say depth or height. It is perpendicular to the extent of the breach, measured from the dam crest down to the bottom of the breach. Okay, it is from the dam crest to the bottom of the dam. So that is the breach depth of the or height. And then width. Breach width generally taken as an average width. Okay, it is taken off top and the bottom width. So it will be always taken the average width as an input. And the third is the breach side slope factor. So breach side slope factor is generally represented as horizontal to vertical. But breach side slope factor, it is described as number of units of horizontal distance to every 1 unit in the vertical. So that is the horizontal to the vertical. Now what is the time related parameters? Time related parameter means breach initiation time. So breach initiation time means it is defined as the first flow of water through the dam that will initiate the warning for evacuation. So just it has just started. So it is the first flow of water to the dam. So that is taken as the breach initiation time. So the second is breach formation time. So breach formation time means it is the duration of the time between the first breaching of the upstream phase of the dam until the breach is fully formed. Okay, it is first breaching up to the fully formed. So that is called as the breach formation time. So generally the trapezoidal section it is considered because of the many reviews, and this is the width, top, there is bottom width and top width, and average width is going to be considered, and this is the depth of the breach, depth of breach, and this is the trapezoidal breach. So here it is a guidelines is given for mapping of flood risk associated with the dam during the year 2018 by the Central Water Commission of India. They have given the range possible for breach parameters. Okay, so it is on the USAE 2014. So dam types are given, different dam types are given, and correspondingly what should be the average breach width. So breach width, it is multiplied by the 0.5 to 3 multiplied by HD. So this HD is corresponding to the height of the dam. Okay, L is nothing but the length of the dam. So similarly, horizontal component of the breach side, horizontal to vertical. And similarly, failure time we can take whenever you are going to do the modeling. So you have to consider the time of failure. You have to take it. So like that, depending upon what type of the dam it is there, so correspondingly you are going to consider the guidelines. As per the guidelines, you are going to calculate all the this breach width, horizontal slope, and time we are going to assume. So this is according to Central Water Commissions. So now Manning-Sen, it is mostly all of us, we are knowing Manning-Sen is mostly the roughness factor. So roughness is also a most important parameter. So based on the roughness, we can say the flow on the downstream side is going to take place, especially in the floodplains. So here for that, Manning's also it is Cho is also given certain Manning's n values, and even certain standard values are also there. Manning's value. It is all depends upon after the site visit. We have to consider the Manning's roughness value. So this Manning's roughness value will also play a role, especially whenever you are making the inundation map. So if roughness is more, then you can say the moment of the flow, it will be less. So like that, so how the variations are there, there is roughness of the surface is there, then accordingly the we can say how the flood is going to inundation map preparation, it will help for the downstream area. So what is the input data required in general for the dam break analysis? One that is we required of salient feature of dam, and all the hydraulic structures it is required, and even elevation volume curve of the reservoir, and we also required of inflow design flood hydrograph, or we can say probable maximum flood, and also upstream boundary condition, and then we required of normal depth and rating curves as a downstream condition, and the need of upstream sectional elevation of the dam, Manning's roughness coefficient, and digital elevation model, and breach parameters, and we also require the cross section of the river, that is for if you are for 1D or the 2D model if you are going to do. Anyhow, this is we have the different steps involved in the dam, especially for modeling using the HECRAS software. And I think this it will be whatever the steps which is I have already given as a lecture note also. But now this is the output of the finally the dam break analysis, how the dam breach occurs and how flood wave it is going to move. It is just a flood inundation map on the downstream of the dam, and this is the one uh, depending upon the my I told you Meenakshi Ramola, she is going to explain also the so how the roughness depending after roughness how the your flood is going to coming on the downstream side. So after the breach, this is the inundation map. One of the inundation map was prepared by her in the one of her topic. So now what I will be doing now, she is going to Aditya sir, Dr. Aditya.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now Meenakshi Ramola.
Okay.
Meenakshi, उसको just उनको भी wait कर लीजिए. I will
Yes, ma'am.
I will close my stop presentation. Okay, so that she can.
Now I can present.
Yes, yes.
Sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now she is Meenakshi Ramola. She is an scientist. She was worked under me as an MTech scholar here, and she worked on HECRES, and because of that, she could able to place in the National Institute of Hydrology, and she is mainly working on this HECRAS, and she is now placed in Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh, and she will demonstrate how the HECRAS model is going to work. Now I think I will hand over my things to the Meenakshi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I am audible to all.
Yeah, Digan.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for Dr. Jyoti Prasad, ma'am, and organizer for this opportunity. Now I will present. One minute. Okay. Now this is visible, ma'am.
Now it is coming. Just wait. Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. It's visible, ma'am.
Yeah, visible.
Okay. Now, first of all, we will discuss the one-dimensional and two-dimensional HECRAS modeling. Basically, first I will discuss the 2D modeling, how we will create our model and how we will do the inundation map, all the work. Firstly, we will go to the open HECRAS model. Then we will go to into the file folder. We will generate our new project. We will save it in a drive wherever you want it. Let's say D drive. Now we will create a folder. Let's suppose its name exercise. Okay. Now we will again give it a title. Whatever you want, you can give it a title. But you have to focus that this title has to be same here, and here it will be .prj. Otherwise, it will not save it. This and this has to be same. Now we will go to OK. Okay. Now here it will ask us to the unit system will be set to US customary units. Previously the units.
Sorry to disturb, but the screen is not moving. Just first screen is there.
Okay.
Sorry to disturb, but screen is not moving. Only first screen is there.
Meenakshi,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
you do? जो projection है ना, जो आप ये कर रहे हो,
Okay.
जो presentation में है क्या ये direct है?
मैम ये डायरेक्ट मॉडलिंग दिखा रही थी.
हाँ अच्छा ठीक है. थोड़ा स्लाइड मूव होने में दिक्कत हो रही हो, देखो.
ओके 1 मिनट.
हाँ देखो.
आई विल डायरेक्ट शो माय वर्क देन.
हाँ देखो. हाँ अभी जस्ट आर इट इज कमिंग.
Okay, this one is visible. After this one you can give the file name and everything. Then we will go to RAS mapper. Is this visible?
Yes.
Okay. In the first week we will do this one is the final, but I will show you the steps. First, we will go to the tools, set projection for project. Now, if it is not available here, we will go to this folder. Then we will give our projection file. This projection file you can create by any GIS software such as QGIS or ArcGIS. Okay. Then you will select it, open it, and then cancel. I am canceling it because it's already there. Okay. Now we will go to tools and new terrain. From here, we will give our digital elevation model, which is the main part in this software because we have to give a digital elevation model so that our software can model our area.
Screen is not again moving. It is stopped.
Ma'am, sir,
Slides are not moving.
हाँ इंटरनेट का थोड़ा
It's stopped.
Excuse me all. I guess it is a problem of projections. While sharing the screen, only the starting 1/4 part of the screen is showing. Maybe at that time some error is there.
You can what you can do दोबारा वो ये करके ना प्रेजेंटेशन ये करके क्लोज करके
yes ma'am,
then you do projection. उसके बाद आप फुल स्क्रीन का जो है ये वाला है ना पीपीटी का लेफ्ट हैंड साइड टॉप मोस्ट में है, उससे यूज कर सकते हो फुल स्क्रीन वाला.
ma'am, I use that one only full screen.
देखो दोबारा देख लो like the steps.
Are you sharing a tab or you are sharing the screen?
Sir, entire screen.
So try that tab, I think.
Your entire.
अदरवाइज ऐसे भी एंटायर स्क्रीन के बदल में वो भी कर सकते हो. आई थिंक दैट विल बी बेटर. एंटायर स्क्रीन मत करना, कभी प्रॉब्लम कर सकते हैं कभी.
Okay. So if I'm showing window, then it's opening.
Yeah. Go with window, ma'am, please.
Is this okay?
Well,
No, not visible.
Oh my.
Ma'am, do you have PPT of that particular software?
No, sir.
otherwise
You can go by direct final map or
yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
वो आपका ये दिख रहा है स्क्रीन का ना.
Ma'am, I tried all the three things here. You have everything. Window.
ये मीनाक्षी रोमोला ये आ रहा है, ये जो इसका ये नहीं आ रहा ना, स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है. क्यों? व्हाट इज द रीजन? पहले दिख रहा था ना, उसी को कर लो. पहले दिख रहा था. शुड आई अदरवाइज आपको वो वाला जो पहले वाला जो है उसको ही करूँ क्या? शुड आई शो?
Okay, ma'am.
हाँ, उसको ही प्रेजेंट करूँ. मैं पावर पॉइंट ये कर लो. मैं
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
एक सेकेंड. अब बोर्ड को ही कर लो. ठीक है.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I will explain you just.
या. अभी शेयर हुआ है देखो.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ ये स्टेप से स्टार्ट कर लेना, ठीक है? एक मिनट, वन सेकंड। ये हाँ ये वाला ये कर सकते हैं स्टार्ट। हाँ
Ma'am, you just show the step slide. I will describe it.
ओके ओके।
Yes, ma'am, this one.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is the 2D dam break modeling. Firstly, for 1D and 2D, we both require digital elevation model that we can download from Bhuvan portal, or you can download it from Earth Explorer. Before that, I have shown, I think, projection and your terrain file, how to download it in the software. After that, we have to go to there is one tool, Geometric Data Editor, where we can go to the storage editor. Storage means reservoir. For two, right now I am dealing with the 2D. Okay, firstly we will draw the storage area, that is reservoir. Reservoir. After that, we will go for the create 2D area. In the HACRAS software, these options are in panel, in the top panel. Now up in 2D area, that means the downstream area of our dam. Now how we will, when we will go to the 2D area, then it will ask the mesh area. So we will give it a pixels number 10 to 15. You can give it according to your choice. Now after, how you will connect the storage area and 2D area. In the two-dimensional modeling, we will edit it by the connection. There is one tool, SA2D connection using Geometric Data Editor. Okay. After connecting this, we will check our staging area created or not. If it is created, then okay. Otherwise, we have to again create it. Now for input data, in the storage area, you have to give the elevation volume curve of reservoir. And these data will be provided by the water resource department according to your dam. Then after providing volume, elevation, area of your reservoir, you will give your dam hydraulic structure details, such as length of dam, height of dam, what's the gate size, gate height, gate length, everything. Gate type, it can be of radial type, it can be simpler, your gates of. After plotting gate and everything, we will go to the parameter calculator. In the parameter calculator, you can calculate the breach parameter. There are various equations for calculating the breach data. Those equations are given in guidelines for mapping flood risk associated with dams 2018. It is mentioned by ma'am earlier also. So you can calculate these data, breach parameters, breach width, breach height, breach formation time, or in HACRAS also, you can just give all the data, full reservoir level of your reservoir and everything. Then it will automatically calculate you the every detail, and you don't have to calculate it by equation by manually. So it's your choice only. After plotting all the details, you will go to the unsteady data editor, where you will give the unsteady data. In two-dimensional modeling, there are two conditions: upstream boundary condition and downstream boundary condition. In the upstream boundary condition, what you will give? You will give your probable maximum flood hydrograph of your dam, for which the dam has to be, for PMF, those dams are built. So you will give the input, that will also be given by you, the water resource department. So after plotting your upstream boundary condition, what will be the downstream boundary condition? Downstream boundary condition will be the normal depth, or you can give the rating curve of your, if sometimes what happens in the downstream, you also have one barrage or something, so that you can give your rating curve of that barrage in the downstream. If not available, then give the normal depth of your that area. Now after plotting all the details, all the things, you will go to the unsteady flow analysis, where you will give all the timing of your hydrographs, everything. Then finally the simulation will be start. In 2D dam break modeling, simulation can take place up to 3 to 4 hours. So this is a basic thing that 2D dam break modeling takes more time than the 1D dimensional modeling. After plotting all the results, you can see those results in the back. Go to the RAS Mapper tool. In that RAS Mapper tool, you have to check all the things, and it will give you the flood inundation modeling. If it can happen, I will show you in the end. I will try. After 2D modeling, let's suppose 1D. The basic difference in 1D, you require the cross-sectional cross-sectional data of your river. That means in 2D modeling, you can generate 2D area by only digital elevation model. But in one-dimensional modeling, you have to give the cross-sectional detail of river for cross-section nearby of in 1 kilometer distance. So after plotting same thing, projection area you will give, then digital elevation model you will give. Then we will go to the geometric data editor. In the geometric data, what will happen in the one-dimensional modeling? Storage area will be same, reservoir same tool will be used. But for downstream area, here we will plot river and cross section. One thing to be noticed here, then in HEC-RAS modeling, whenever you will plot cross section, the cross section number will start from downstream to upstream. Suppose you have given one number, so it, and after that 2, 3, 4. So when you will check it, one number will be in the last, and fourth number cross section will be in the topmost. So don't be confused in that. HEC-RAS deal with the downstream to upstream condition. For adding dam in one-dimensional modeling, we will use inline structure. There are 2-3 options: inline structure, lateral structure. So for dam break, we will use inline structure. And one more thing, whenever you will plot one-dimensional cross sections, two cross sections will be in the difference of at least 10 meter or 20 meters have to be in the upstream section, upstream of dam. That means in the downstream of dam, your sections can be of 1 kilometer apart or 500 meter apart, whatever you the survey detail. But in the upstream, that has to be in 10 or 20 meters, not more than that. To at least minimum 2 cross section has to be provided upper stream of your dam. So after connecting everything, same as in 2D, you will go to the unsteady flow editor, where you will give as the upstream, you will give your probable maximum flood hydrograph. In the downstream, you will give your normal depth and also the grade detail, everything. In the one more thing, in one-dimensional modeling, we also have to give initial discharge and initial elevation. So what is the initial discharge? Initial discharge means the first value of your hydrograph. That means first value of your probable maximum flood hydrograph. Same value. And initial elevation, that doesn't mean the last elevation. Initial means your top, you can give your FRL, flood reservoir level of your reservoir. So this is the main thing in the one-dimensional modeling. After that, same, you will go to the unsteady, you will go to start your simulation process. You will fill your all details, and flood inundation map will be ready. Ma'am?
Board dam, you can explain? Board?
Ma'am, this one?
A board dam hai, iska.
Okay. In my MTech, I have done the study in the board dam. That one is located in Udham Singh Nagar district of Uttarakhand. There are namely of rivers Bor and Karla nearest to this detail. Basically the Bor dam is earthen dam. And one more thing, when you will give the breach data, where you can select your dam is earthen dam or concrete dam. So this particular Bor dam is an earthen dam. There are gate types vertical. You have to know the size of gate, top level of gates. These all things will be required in your model. After that, storage detail, full reservoir level, dead storage reservoir level, reservoir capacity and FRL. These all data will be given by your water resource department. This is the view of Bor dam. So in this modeling, we can whenever we will go to the breach parameter panel, there it will ask you the you want to do overtopping failure or piping failure. So this is upon the user's choice. You can do overtopping or piping. You can choose from there. Now, in our MTech work, I have done various scenarios I have simulated. First is the pool reservoir level with overtopping failure. Second, pool reservoir level with piping failure. Third one is that storage level is overtopping failure, and fourth is with piping failure. In scenario 5, I have dealt with the different Manning's roughness value so that we can say that how those Manning's roughness value will affect our inundation map, that means discharge and depth, all other things.
This I told already, input data.
These are the input data I have already. Yeah, this one. Now here you can see after plotting projection and your digital elevation model, this one is the geometric data editor file. In first you have seen the, I have told you for two-dimensional modeling, storage area. In upper panel you all can see storage area. After that 2D flow area, and after that SA 2D area connection. For 2D store, first you will draw your storage area, that means reservoir. After then 2D flow area, it all depends on your choice. How much you want to cover the area. In 1D and 2D, that's the difference. In 2D, the area of downstream of dam you can choose by your choice. But in 1D modeling, the inundation map will be up to only your cross-section detail. That means after your cross-section detail, you can't show your inundation map. So, okay. So this is the elevation volume curve used in the reservoir as the next, ma'am. These are the, here you can see that top of dam elevation, pool elevation at failure, breach bottom elevation, pool volume at failure. When you will provide all the details and select your earth fill type, that it is fine, homogeneous or concrete, everything, and you will click on that. There are different methods. You can see McDonald et al., Froelich 1995, Froelich 2008, Wonthun and Zillett, Zhu and Zhang. These are the basic 5 different equations. Those are used by also by Government of India for developing the breach parameters. So you can directly use those parameters and start your breach analysis. This is where you can select the in the 2D flow area. If you will click on that, you will see this panel, and here you will provide your Manning's roughness value. Ma'am, next. Now this is the unsteady flow data editor. That means where you have to give your all details. That means upstream boundary condition as a reservoir area will perform as a upstream boundary condition, where you will give your PMF, that is lateral inflow hydrograph, and in the downstream condition you will give the normal depth, and in the connection system you will automatically show the dam. Here you will give your gate details. Now this is the final window of your unsteady flow analysis, where you have to check all those geometric pre-processor, unsteady flow simulation, post-processor, flood plane mapping. So you will also give your starting date and ending date. That has to be same as the in PMF. That means whatever date you have used in the your lateral inflow hydrograph, same date has to be here. After that, computing interval, mapping output interval, it has to be according to your choice. Then you have to check all those things. Finally, in the RASMapper tool, where we have given the projection and your terrain file, you will check all those left side things, results, geometric. In the geometries, you will see the storage area, 2D flow area. When it will deal with one-dimensional modeling, it will also check, there will be reverse and cross sections. And in the results, you can see geometry, inundation boundary, velocity, water surface elevation, depth, etc. And this one is the Bordam inundation map. I have taken that much area, so the inundation map of this is within my range of 2D area. That means if sometime if that dam will break, this much only flood will inundate with that downstream of your reservoir or dam, you can say. I
Yeah, yeah. Yes, हाँ बताओ.
Okay. So now these are the 4 places I have taken according to the most populated area in the downstream of Bor Dam. So this is the distance from the dam and the population in that area. So this is the Google Earth Pro, you can say the location of the dam. This one is the Bor Reservoir. This one is Earthen Dam, and the whole of this area I have taken as the 2D flow area. These are the terrain profile of cross section at different places, such as this one is Kelathera. These all results you can see in the RAS method tool of your HECRAS model. This one is for Bosena and Milakhanam. These are the places in the downstream of your Bor Dam. Now these are the 5 different scenarios. Now this is the table after plotting all the details and results. This is the final table I have plotted for scenario 1. In this we can see that different places, distance from dam, maximum discharge value, when the dam time and day of when the maximum discharge arrived at which place, maximum water surface elevation, maximum depth, and maximum velocity of your flood. This one is the final hydrograph, you can say, for the overtopping flow, and condition is pool reservoir level. These are different. See, for different scenarios, different hydrographs are plotted at 4 places. These are all the results I have simulated at my work. And in 2D modeling, you can check those results in the RAS mapper only. Now, finally, what is the plotting of a flood inundation map? So, HECRAS is a tool where HECRAS is a model where you can actually see your flood inundation mapping. You can visualize it. If possible, I will check it again if my work will do. These are the different cases inundation maps.
The roughness of inundation.
Okay, as you all know that as the Manning's roughness value increases, your discharge will decrease. So these are for different scenarios of Manning's roughness values.
Okay, I think.
Okay. Finally, the conclusion, ma'am. I want to try one more time.
देखो time available है sir.
Yes.
One time I will presentation मेरा the stop I will.
Okay, I will try one more. If it will work, then tell me. Otherwise, I will close it. Is it visible?
It's coming.
Visible, ma'am.
Okay, this one is the full work. So I will just show you how to animated video in the HECRAS model only. So you can see how your work will or flood will move. Let's see. If you will click on this button, this one is the animation video is in the HECRAS model. You can check it. And this one is with the final flood indentation map, you can say, or you can generate it very nicely in the QGIS software. Okay, is this visible now?
Yes, visible, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Then this one will be the final or work that flood inundation map, how to plot it. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If participants,
Will you be there for some time to see any sort of across questions?
if participants have any question, they can ask. Meanwhile, I will read the question from chat box. So one question, ma'am, what is the DEM resolution used for that particular study?
What?
What is the DEM resolution used in your study?
Okay, okay. Digital 30-meter resolution.
Is it free software?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's very, you can download it easily from your openware software.
Openware software.
Okay.
Any question from the participants? What is the US boundary condition should be used to run?
Upstream boundary condition will be same for piping and overtopping failure. Upstream boundary condition means the reservoir. In the reservoir, you have to give your inflow hydrograph. That will be same for overtopping and piping.
Okay, I think no questions. So thank you, Jyoti Prasad ma'am and Meenakshi ma'am. The lecture was very informative. I think it will be definitely helpful for the participants who are working in the field of flood studies. Okay, thank you once again for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry that I'm not able to show everything. That's very sorry.
Okay, okay. Anyhow, one more announcement is there from my side. We are also having an ATAL program during the month of August. August 2nd, 1 week program is there. And it is of urban hydrology. Any participants they are interested, they can also apply.
Okay, okay. I think you have shared the link in chat box, right, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, Aditya and Vaikar sir. And thanks to the Namdel College for me to invite here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. You are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So here I conclude today's session, and we will join tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you for patience listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.